The summer sun blazed over Atlanta in 2023, its heat shimmering off the glass facade of the Peachtree Center, where the sleek offices of Mitchell & Coburn Consulting stood on the 14th floor. Inside, the air was cool, the hum of ambition mingling with the clink of coffee mugs. Diana Mitchell, 42, a black woman with a commanding presence, strode through the lobby, her braided hair swept into a neat updo, her deep brown eyes sharp with purpose. Her tailored gray blazer, crisp white blouse, and black pencil skirt hugged her frame, a silver cuff bracelet glinting on her wrist, a family heirloom from her grandmother's days in Birmingham. Her low-heeled pumps clicked on the marble floor, each step a testament to years of breaking barriers. Diana was the CEO of Mitchell & Co., a firm advising Fortune 500 companies on diversity and inclusion, grossing $120 million annually across offices in Dallas, Miami, and Seattle. Her TED Talks had millions of views. Her book, Rise Above, topped bestseller lists. Yet she still rode the same MARTA bus she'd taken when starting out, a reminder of her roots in a struggling Decatur neighborhood. Money doesn't change who you are, she'd tell her team. It just amplifies it. Every week she visited a client site unannounced, not to spy, but to ensure her firm's values, respect, equity, social justice, were lived, not just preached. Today, her destination was a tech startup, Brightwave Innovations, a client in Midtown Atlanta. Brightwave's glass-walled office buzzed with coders and creatives, its open-plan layout dotted with ping-pong tables and neon signs. Diana's firm had been hired to overhaul their hiring practices after a whistleblower exposed biased recruitment. As she entered, she noticed a flickering light above a conference room but said nothing, slipping into observer mode. Her blazer pocket held a notepad, her pen poised for insights. At the reception desk stood Patricia Whitman, 38, the HR manager, her blonde bob flawless, her cream silk blouse and navy trousers exuding privilege. Raised in a gated Buckhead community, Patricia saw herself as the gatekeeper of Brightwave's elite culture. She greeted Diana with a thin smile, her blue eyes scanning her from head to toe. "Can I help you?" she asked, her tone clipped, assuming Diana was a delivery worker. Diana smiled warmly, undeterred. "I'm here for the diversity audit," she said, her voice steady, professional. Patricia's smile froze. "Audit? We're not expecting anyone," she said, flipping through a tablet. "You must be mistaken." Diana's eyes narrowed slightly, catching the dismissal. "Check again," she said, handing over a business card. Diana Mitchell, CEO, Mitchell & Coburn. Patricia's fingers hesitated, her lips pursing. "Wait here," she muttered, turning to a glass-walled office where Kevin Taus, 26, the junior HR coordinator, typed furiously. His curly black hair fell over his forehead, his brown eyes earnest behind glasses, his rumpled shirt a contrast to Patricia's polish. Nearby, Ashley Chen, 23, a data analyst, glanced up from her laptop, her straight black hair tied in a ponytail, her green sweater bright against the office gray. She sensed tension, her instincts honed from years navigating microaggressions. Marcus Johnson, 45, the security guard, stood by the entrance, his gray uniform crisp, his dark eyes watchful. A former Marine, he needed this job to support his family in Stone Mountain. Diana waited, her bracelet catching the light, her composure, a shield against Patricia's coldness. Patricia returned, her smile tighter. "There's no record of you," she said, voice dripping with doubt. "You'll need to schedule an appointment." Diana's jaw tightened, but her voice stayed. "Come, I don't need one. Your CEO approved this audit." Patricia crossed her arms. "I'd need proof of that," she said, her tone implying Diana was an intruder. The office hushed, eyes darting to the standoff. Diana's fingers brushed her phone, a spark of moral courage in her gaze. Could Patricia's arrogance blind her to the truth standing before her? The Atlanta sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the glass walls of Brightwave Innovations' Midtown office, where the hum of keyboards and the clatter of coffee cups filled the air. Diana Mitchell, 42, stood resolute in the sleek reception area. Her braided hair swept into an elegant updo, her deep brown eyes unflinching. Her gray blazer and black pencil skirt were impeccable, the silver cuff bracelet on her wrist, a relic from her grandmother's Birmingham days, glinting faintly. Under fluorescent lights, her low-heeled pumps grounded her stance, a quiet defiance against the storm brewing before her. As CEO of Mitchell & Kobers Consulting, Diana had faced skepticism before, but the sting of dismissal in this tech startup, a client her firm was hired to reform, cut deeper. Patricia Whitman, 38, the HR manager, leaned against the reception desk, her blonde bob sharp as her tone, her cream silk blouse and navy trousers a polished mask of privilege. Her blue eyes narrowed, dismissing Diana's business card as if it were a forgery. "This audit isn't on our calendar," Patricia said, her voice dripping with condescension. "You'll need to leave and book a proper appointment." Diana's fingers tightened around her notepad, her composure a testament to years of overcoming bias. "Your CEO, Ms. Hargrove, approved this visit," she replied, her voice steady, laced with moral courage. "Call her if you doubt me." Patricia's lips curled into a smirk. "I don't need to bother Ms. Hargrove," she said, tossing the card onto the desk. "We run a tight ship here. No unverified visitors." The office buzzed, coders glancing, over monitors sensing tension. Kevin Taus, 26, the junior HR coordinator, paused his typing, his curly black hair falling over his glasses, his brown eyes flickering with unease. His rumpled shirt and loosened tie spoke of long hours, but his instincts urged him to intervene. He rose, approaching cautiously. "Patricia, maybe we should check the system again," he suggested, voice tentative. Patricia shot him a glare, her manicured nails tapping the desk. "Kevin, stay out of this," she snapped. "This isn't your call." Kevin hesitated, his hands fidgeting, but retreated to his desk, guilt gnawing at him. Ashley Chen, 23, the data analyst, watched from her cubicle, her straight black hair tied back, her green sweater a splash of color in the sterile office. Her fingers hovered over her laptop, her sharp mind piecing together the scene. She'd faced subtle slights herself and recognized the undercurrent of prejudice in Patricia's tone. Marcus Johnson, 45, the security guard, stood by the glass doors, his gray uniform crisp, his dark eyes scanning the room. His Marine training told him this could escalate, but he stayed silent, bound by duty. Diana's gaze held Patricia's, unflinching. "I'm not leaving," she said, her voice low but firm, an emotional truth cutting through the corporate chill. "My firm was hired to audit your hiring practices after your bias scandal. I suggest you cooperate." Patricia laughed, a sharp, mocking sound. "Scandal? That's media nonsense. We hire the best, period. You're wasting my time." She gestured toward the door. "Marcus, show her out." Marcus shifted, his broad shoulders tensing, but he didn't move. "Ma'am, I'd need a clear reason," he said, voice steady, his own black struggles echoing in his caution. Patricia's face reddened. "Reason? She's unauthorized," she hissed, pointing at Diana. "Do your job, or I'll have it." Marcus's jaw clenched, but he held his ground, eyes flicking to Diana, sensing her authority. Ashley stood, her voice soft but clear. "Patricia, I saw an email about an audit. Let me pull it up." Patricia whirled, her bob swinging. "Ashley, sit down and focus on your data," she barked. Ashley sank back, her cheeks flushing, but her fingers typed furiously, searching for proof. Diana's bracelet caught the light as she pulled out her phone, her movements deliberate. "If you won't verify with your CEO," she said, "I'll contact my team to confirm." Patricia scoffed, crossing her arms. "Go ahead, call whoever you want. This is my domain and I don't answer to strangers." The office grew quieter. Employees whispering, phones discreetly recording. Kevin glanced at his monitor, pulling up Brightwave's client list, his heart racing as he spotted Mitchell & Co. "Patricia," he tried again, voice urgent. "I think she's legit." Patricia ignored him, her smirk returning. "You're causing a scene," she told Diana. "Leave now, or I'll call the police." Diana's eyes flashed, a spark of true justice igniting. "Call them," she said, her voice a quiet challenge. But you might want to know who you're dealing with first. She dialed a number, her fingers steady, her gaze never leaving. Patricia's. The line connected and Diana's voice turned crisp. Lydia, it's Diana. I'm at Brightwave. We have an obstruction. Patricia's smirk faltered, a flicker of doubt in her eyes. The room held its breath, the weight of real drama settling over them. Could Patricia's hubris withstand the truth Diana was about to unveil? The fluorescent lights of Brightwave Innovations' Midtown Atlanta office buzzed faintly, casting stark shadows across the open-plan workspace. The hum of laptops and the clink of coffee mugs faded as tension thickened the air. Diana Mitchell, 42, stood at the center of the storm, her braided hair swept into a neat updo, her deep brown eyes blazing with quiet fury. Her gray blazer and black pencil skirt were a shield of professionalism, the silver cuff bracelet on her wrist, a Birmingham eye, heirloom glinting with every deliberate gesture. Her low-heeled pumps planted firmly on the polished floor. Diana was a force, her presence a testament to black struggles forged into strength. Patricia Whitman, 38, the HR manager, leaned forward, her blonde bob slicing the air, her cream silk blouse and navy trousers crisp but betraying her agitation. Her blue eyes flashed with defiance, her voice rising. "You're disrupting our work," she snapped, pointing at Diana. "Leave now or I'll have you escorted out." The office stilled, coders pausing, their screens reflecting the standoff. Diana's fingers grazed her phone, her voice calm, but cutting. "I'm here to audit your hiring practices," she said. "Your bias scandal cost you clients. I think you'd want to fix that." Patricia laughed, a brittle sound that echoed off glass walls. "Bias? We hire talent, not sob stories," she said, her words dripping with contempt. "This isn't a charity." Kevin Taus, 26, the junior HR coordinator, winced at his desk, his curly black hair damp with sweat, his brown eyes darting between the women. His rumpled shirt clung to him, his tie askew, but he stood, voice shaky. "Patricia, I found the audit email," he said, holding up his tablet. "She's from Mitchell & Co." Patricia's glare silenced him. "Kevin, I said stay out of this," she hissed, her nails digging into her palm. Ashley Chen, 23, the data analyst, typed rapidly at her cubicle, her straight black hair falling over her green sweater, her dark eyes scanning Brightwave's HR records. She'd uncovered data showing skewed hiring, fewer Black and Latino candidates shortlisted despite equal qualifications. "Patricia," Ashley ventured, voice soft, "the numbers don't lie. We've got a problem." Patricia whirled, her bob swinging. "Ashley, your job is data, not opinions," she barked. Ashley's cheeks burned, but she kept typing, determined to prove Diana right. Marcus Johnson, 45, the security guard, stood by the glass doors, his gray uniform taut across his broad frame, his dark eyes narrowing. His marine instincts screamed. Caution, his own modern struggles as a black father resonating with Diana's fight. He stepped closer, voice low. "Patricia, let's verify her credentials before this escalates," he said. Patricia's face reddened. "Marcus, do your job," she shouted. "Remove her." Marcus didn't budge, his jaw tight. "I need a valid reason," he replied, his moral courage a quiet rebellion. Diana seized the moment, her voice steady, as she addressed the room. "Brightwave's hiring data shows systemic bias," she said, holding up her notepad. "Only 8% of your engineers are Black or Latino, despite 30% of applicants. That's not talent selection, it's discrimination." Employees murmured, some nodding, others shifting uncomfortably. Patricia scoffed, crossing her arms. "You're throwing around accusations with no proof," she said. "This is my office and I won't tolerate slander." Diana's eyes locked on hers, an emotional truth in her gaze. "Slander? I've seen your applicant logs. Shall I share them?" Patricia's smirk faltered, her confidence cracking. "You're bluffing," she said, but her voice wavered. She gestured to a conference room, its neon sign flickering. "If you're so sure, show me your evidence in there." Diana nodded, her bracelet catching the light as she moved, her notepad clutched like a weapon. "Gladly," she said, stepping forward. Kevin followed, tablet in hand, his heart pounding. Ashley sent her data to Diana's email, her fingers trembling with purpose. Marcus watched, his presence a silent anchor in the chaos. As Diana entered the conference room, the glass walls seemed to close in, the Atlanta skyline a distant blur. Patricia trailed her, voice sharp. "You think you can intimidate me?" she said. "This is my turf." Diana turned, her smile faint but fierce. "Your turf's built on lies," she said. "And lies don't survive the light." The room buzzed with real drama as employees gathered outside, phones recording, whispers spreading. Kevin's tablet, pinged with Ashley's data, a spark of true justice ready to ignite. What would Diana's evidence reveal to shatter Patricia's facade? The glass-walled conference room of Brightwave Innovations in Midtown Atlanta pulsed with tension, the neon sign above flickering like a warning in the summer dusk of 2023. Diana Mitchell, 42, stood at the head of a sleek oak table, her braided hair in a pristine updo, her deep brown eyes cutting through the room's sterile glow. Her gray blazer and black pencil skirt were a fortress of resolve, the silver cuff bracelet on her wrist, a Birmingham heirloom, gleaming as she set her notepad down. Her low-heeled pumps anchored her, a symbol of black struggles turned into unyielding strength. As CEO of Mitchell & Cumber Consulting, Diana was no stranger to resistance, but the venom in this office ignited a fire within her. Patricia Whitman, 38, the HR manager, paced by the window, her blonde bob sharp, her cream, silk blouse and navy trousers creased with agitation. Her blue eyes blazed with indignation, her voice a hiss. "You're throwing around baseless accusations," she said, jabbing a finger at Diana. "Show me this so-called evidence or get out." The Atlanta skyline loomed outside, its lights a distant contrast to the real drama unfolding within. Diana's gaze was steady, her voice calm but razor-edged. "Your hiring data tells the truth," she said, sliding a printed report across the table. "Only 8% of your engineers are Black or Latino, despite 30% of applicants. That's systemic change you've ignored." Kevin Taus, 26, the junior HR coordinator, clutched his tablet, his curly black hair damp, his brown eyes wide behind glasses. His rumpled shirt and loosened tie betrayed his nerves, but he stepped forward, voice shaky. "I pulled the logs," he said, showing Patricia the screen. "She's right. Our shortlists are skewed." Patricia's face twisted. "Kevin, you're out of line," she snapped, snatching the tablet. "This is a setup." Ashley Chen, 23, the data analyst, stood by the door, her straight black hair loose, her green sweater vibrant against the gray walls. Her dark eyes flashed as she spoke. "I sent Diana the raw data," she said. "The numbers don't lie, Patricia." Patricia's laugh was sharp, venomous. "You're all conspiring," she shouted, turning to Diana. "You think you can waltz in and ruin my reputation? I'll have you arrested for trespassing." She grabbed her phone, dialing, her voice rising. "Security? We need police." Marcus Johnson, 45, the security guard, stood outside the glass door, his gray uniform taut, his dark eyes narrowing. His Marine training urged restraint, his own modern struggles echoing in Diana's defiance. "Patricia, I'm not calling anyone until we verify her," he said, voice firm, a spark of moral courage. Diana's bracelet caught the neon light as she raised a hand, her voice a quiet thunder. "Call the police," she said. "But first, let me call my contact at Brightwave's board." She dialed, her fingers steady, her gaze locked on Patricia. "James, it's Diana Mitchell," she said into the phone. "I'm at your Atlanta office. We have an obstruction to the audit." Patricia's hand froze, her phone slipping slightly, doubt creeping into her eyes. The room grew silent, employees crowding outside, phones recording, whispers of true justice spreading. Patricia's voice wavered. "You're bluffing," she said, but her bravado cracked. "No one on our board knows you." Diana's smile was faint, lethal. James Hargrove, your chairman, hired me personally, she said. Shall we confirm? Kevin's tablet pinged, displaying an email from Hargrove authorizing the audit. He held it up, voice urgent. Patricia, it's real. She's legit. Ashley nodded, her data now projected on the conference room screen, bar graphs exposing Brightwave's bias. Marcus stepped closer, his presence a shield, his eyes on Diana, sensing her power. Patricia's face paled, her phone trembling in her hand. This is my office, she shrieked, slamming the table. You can't intimidate me. Diana leaned forward, her voice low, an emotional truth resonating. I'm not here to intimidate, she said. I'm here to expose what you've buried. The neon sign flickered, casting jagged shadows, the skyline a silent witness. Employees gasped, their recordings capturing the inspiring change unfolding. Diana's call connected, a voice crackling through. Diana, what's the issue? Patricia's eyes widened, the weight of her mistake dawning. Could her defiance survive the revelation of Diana's true authority? The conference room at Brightwave Innovations in Midtown Atlanta was a crucible of tension, its glass walls reflecting the flickering neon sign above, casting jagged shadows across the oak table. The summer night of 2023 pressed against the windows, the Atlanta skyline a silent witness to the storm within. Diana Mitchell, 42, stood tall, her braided hair in a meticulous updo, her deep brown eyes radiating unyielding authority. Her gray blazer and black pencil skirt were a testament to her resolve, the silver cuff bracelet on her wrist, a Birmingham heirloom, glinting as she held her phone. Her low-heeled pumps were planted firmly, a beacon of black struggles transformed into power. Patricia Whitman, 38, the HR manager, gripped the table's edge, her blonde bob disheveled, her cream silk blouse wrinkled, her navy trousers creased. Her blue eyes darted, panic replacing her earlier arrogance. You're nobody, she shouted, voice cracking. You can't call our board? Diana's gaze was a blade, her voice calm but lethal. I already have, she said, pressing her phone to her ear. James, we're ready, she spoke, her tone crisp, commanding. The room froze. Employees crowded outside, their phones recording the real drama unfolding, whispers of true justice rippling through the air. Kevin Taus, 26, the junior HR coordinator, stood by the projector, his curly black hair damp, his brown eyes wide behind glasses. His rumpled shirt and loosened tie betrayed his nerves, but he held his tablet, its screen glowing with audit data. Patricia, it's over, he said, voice steadying. Her firm's contract is with our CEO. Patricia whirled, her face flushed. Kevin, you're fired, she screamed, but her words lacked weight, her authority crumbling. Ashley Chen, 23, the data analyst, stepped forward, her straight black hair loose, her green sweater bold against the sterile room, her dark eyes shone with conviction. I verified her, she said, holding up her laptop. Diana Mitchell, CEO of Mitchell & Co. Marcus Johnson, 45, the security guard, leaned against the glass door, his gray uniform crisp, his dark eyes locked on Diana. His marine instincts recognized her power, his own modern struggles resonating. In her stand. Patricia, stand down, he said, voice low, a pillar of moral courage. Patricia's phone slipped from her hand, clattering to the floor. This is my office, she gasped, but her voice was a whisper, drowned by the weight of truth. Diana lowered her phone, her smile faint but searing. Your office? She said. I'm Diana Mitchell, the consultant your board hired to fix your bias, and I'm not leaving. Patricia's knees buckled, her hand clutching her chest. You can't be, she stammered, memories of Mitchell & Co.'s TED Talks and bestseller flashing through her mind. Kevin projected Ashley's data onto the screen, bar graphs starkly showing Brightwave's discriminatory hiring. Only 8% Black or Latino engineers, Kevin read, voice firm. 30% of applicants were qualified. Employees gasped, their recordings capturing the systemic change. Diana demanded. Ashley's voice cut through. Patricia, you approve those shortlists, she said, her data undeniable. Patricia's eyes filled with tears, her composure shattered. I didn't know, she cried, sinking into a chair. I was protecting our standards. Diana's gaze softened, but her voice held emotional truth. Your standards excluded talent based on race, she said. That's not protection. It's prejudice. She turned to the crowd outside, her voice carrying. Brightwave hired me to ensure fairness. I've faced bias my whole life, and I won't let it fester here. The room buzzed. Employees, nodding, some ashamed, others inspired by her inspiring change. Patricia sobbed, her hands shaking. I didn't mean it, she pleaded, mascara streaking her face. Diana's bracelet caught the neon light as she stepped closer, her voice steady. You meant every word, she said, but your actions have consequences. She dialed another number, her fingers precise. Lydia, it's Diana, she said. We need Brightwave's board and HR director on the line. Now. Patricia's head snapped up, terror in her eyes. The neon sign flickered, the skyline a backdrop to the true, justice unfolding. Could Patricia's world survive the full weight of Diana's revelation? The conference room at Brightwave Innovations in Midtown Atlanta was a crucible of reckoning, its glass walls reflecting the neon sign's dying flicker as the summer night of 2023 deepened. The Atlanta skyline glittered beyond, a silent testament to the true justice unfolding within. Diana Mitchell, 42, stood at the oak table's head, her braided hair in a flawless updo, her deep brown eyes radiating quiet power. Her gray blazer and black pencil skirt were a mantle of authority, the silver cuff bracelet on her wrist, a Birmingham heirloom, shining as she lowered her phone. Her low-heeled pumps held her steady, a symbol of black struggles forged into triumph. Patricia Whitman, 38, the HR manager, slumped in a chair, her blonde bob tangled, her cream silk blouse stained with sweat, her navy trousers crumpled. Her blue eyes were red-rimmed, her voice a broken whisper. I didn't know, she sobbed, mascara streaking her face. Please, I have a family. Diana's gaze was unwavering, her voice calm but resolute. You chose prejudice over fairness, she said, an emotional truth cutting through Patricia's pleas. Brightwave trusted you to uphold social justice. You failed. The room was silent. Employees outside recording, their phones capturing the real drama of Patricia's fall. Kevin Taus, 26, the junior HR coordinator, stood by the projector, his curly black hair damp, his brown eyes steady behind glasses. His rumpled shirt and loosened tie spoke of courage, his tablet glowing with audit data. Ms. Mitchell, the board's on the line, he said, voice firm. Ashley Chen, 23, the data analyst, clutched her laptop, her straight black hair loose, her green sweater a beacon of resolve. Her dark eyes shone as she projected her findings, bar graphs exposing Brightwave's bias. Patricia signed off on these, she said, her voice clear. Marcus Johnson, 45, the security guard, guarded the door, his gray uniform crisp, his dark eyes proud. His moral courage had kept him from ejecting Diana, his own modern struggles mirrored in her fight. Diana addressed the board through her phone, her voice commanding. Brightwave's HR manager obstructed our audit and perpetuated bias, she said. She's unfit for her role. Patricia's sobs grew louder, her hands shaking. I can change, she begged. Diana's bracelet caught the light as she turned, her voice soft but final. Change starts with accountability, she said. Patricia, you're terminated. Effective immediately. Patricia collapsed, her world shattered, her arrogance reduced to ashes. Employees gasped, the weight of systemic change settling over them. Diana turned to her allies. Kevin, your interim HR manager, she said. Your integrity saved this audit. Kevin nodded, stunned but honored. Ashley, your lead data analyst, Diana continued. Your evidence was our backbone. Ashley's eyes welled, her pride palpable. Marcus, Diana said, your judgment merits a promotion to security chief. Marcus stood taller, his gratitude silent but deep. The room buzzed with inspiring change. Employees inspired by Diana's leadership, their recordings spreading the story online. Diana faced the crowd, her voice resonant. Brightwave will reform its hiring, she said. Bias thrives in silence, but we've broken that silence today. She touched her bracelet, her words a lesson in overcoming bias. In the 1960s, my grandmother faced worse than this in Birmingham, yet she taught me to build spaces where everyone belongs. Social justice isn't a buzzword, it's a fight for emotional truth. Her words echoed, a call to action rooted in history, urging police reform and fairness in every workplace. If this real drama moved you, comment your thoughts and subscribe for more stories of moral courage. Let's spark systemic change together. Diana stepped to the window, the skyline a canvas of possibility. We stay open, she told Kevin, and we serve every employee with dignity. She straightened a crooked chair, a small act symbolizing order restored. An employee approached, voice respectful. Ms. Mitchell, your strength is incredible, she said. Diana smiled, her bracelet gleaming. Strength comes from purpose, she replied. The neon sign steadied, its light soft, the office alive with renewed purpose. As Diana walked out, her legacy of justice burned bright. What would Brightwave become under the light of her truth?